for Gracie?
Recording in progress.
We're good to start.
All right, good morning. I'm going to call the meeting to order, 11:03. I'm going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Zanger,
Here.
Commissioner Kosmicki. He's gonna unmute himself on Zoom. There he is. We can't hear you. Hold on one second. It might be CMAP. Are you guys unmuted on Zoom? So we can't hear the Commissioner Kosmicki. Let me go on to Commissioner Stevens is absent. Commissioner Jordan?
Here.
Commissioner Pagrin?
Here.
Commissioner Pillsbury? Okay, we can hear him. Commissioner Kosmicki? We still can't hear you, but we hear Mr. Pillsbury. Mr. Pillsbury, can you hear Mr. Kosmicki? Oh, but now we don't hear you either, so hold on a second.
Do we get to see people who are on Zoom if they have their cameras up?
You should
No,
be able
because
to.
it creates
Recording in progress.
Oh, got it.
I don't know how to describe it.
Like,
Two
Screen.
mirrors face each other.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Okay, Commissioner Kosmicki, can you? I still don't hear him. Can you guys, either one of you, say something again?
You're hearing you just fine.
Okay, we hear you. Kosmicki? We still don't hear him. So I don't know if it's on his end. Commissioner Kosmicki, can you try to speak again? He looks frozen on my computer right now. Commissioner Pillsbury, can you say something?
Yes, no, I think he looks frozen to me as well.
Okay, we hear him. He disconnected, so we'll wait to see if he jumps back on. No, that's the old one. And the blankets, we wash all of them. Let's promote him again and see if this works. Commissioner Kosmicki? Yeah, we still don't.
I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, me either. Us either. I'm wondering, there we go, it says connecting to audio. The number, and we leave that there. Mr. Pillsbury is not away due to a tourism thing or an emergency. He's just on vacation, so he doesn't count. He's just participating, but he can't vote on anything. So with the three of you, we won't have four, unless. Mm-mm. I'm wondering.
Okay, can you hear me? I joined as a panelist on my phone.
Yes,
I can
we
hear you
hear
now.
you clear now. Okay.
Okay. Does anybody know how to mute it on the phone offhand?
Star six. Gracie
I guess
said
I can
star
just-
6. See if that
I'll
works.
just put myself on mute. Yeah.
Okay. So we can get started now. Oh, let me do his roll call. Commissioner Kosmicki.
Here.
Okay.
And I have to announce, as well, as long as I'm on here. Let me pull that up really quick. Geez, no, I lost it. Let me pull it up really quick here, but I have to announce out why I'm absent. Let's just pull this up here quick. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so participating remotely under AB 2449 exemption due to the need for childcare due to my young son who is sick today, and nobody else over the age of 18 is in the room with me. That's it.
Great, thank you. All right, brings us to 3, the acknowledge the certificate of posting. Is there a motion to acknowledge the certificate of posting?
I'll make a motion.
Great, is there a second?
That
Okay, all in favor?
is your,
Aye.
Aye.
there you go. Aye.
Great, unanimous. Next, minutes. Is there a motion to approve the Tourism Advisory Committee minutes for the May 28th, 2025 committee meeting?
I'd make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Right. Is there any public comment for items not appearing on the agenda today?
We don't have that, seeing that it's a special meeting because usually it's at 2 versus.
Okay,
11.
great. Easy.
Cruising right along.
We'll move to regular agenda. 5A, receive and accept presentation from Visit San Benito, a contracted nonprofit corporation providing tourism services and further promoting tourism in San Benito County.
Good morning. My name is Irene Davis, and I'm the board president for Visit San Benito County. First on the screen is basically our budget from the funds that we receive from the county versus what we actually spent. I don't think I need to go over line by line because you have it in front of you, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to ask any questions about the items, but we did spend all the money that was given to us. Okay. Now I hit tab. Oh.
And then click on.
Okay, here is our presentation. I put this together. I'm not an expert at it, so please bear with me. First, we have a photo of our board. And I wanted to mention, we're all volunteers, so none of us are getting paid for anything. We've been doing a lot of nice work, I feel, for the county and the cities. We offer unique places with wide open spaces to relax and play the cowboy or your way. That's our tagline. And we're home of the Pinnacles National Park. What we achieved in our first year, I feel, is actually quite a bit for us all being volunteers and not really having very much money to work on. So we launched our tourism website that actually went live in January. We have free listings for all lodging and tourism related businesses. We built a growing presence on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I hope some of you saw our video that we posted last night on Tres Pinos. I think it came out really nice. It was a long form video. And it's got the history, a little bit about the rodeo, and all the different establishments in Tres Pinos. And so we hope to do more of that type of work on social media. We are now listed for the first time on Visit California. Before, if you went to the Central Coast listing, there was nothing about San Benito County. Now there's a link to our website. The same goes for the Central Coast Tourism Council page. So we have a listing and an ad in their popular visitor materials and on their website. We're featured in the National Park Magazine. I think some of you saw this. I'm holding it up now. We have a 2-page spread in there, and then they also have one full page on the different hikes that are popular at the Pinnacles. This is called the Yosemite Journal. They have it online in the print version. we worked with Civitas to form a tourism improvement district and secure long-term funding for tourism marketing. And we participated in several conferences, I did, at my own expense, and made connections with many international tour providers to share about San Benito County. And I was surprised how many of them had already heard of the Pinnacles. So that was great. Here's an example of our ad in the Pinnacles National Park. It's in the Yosemite Journal. Here's the stats provided by the magazine. Their circulation is 100,000 and their readership is 250,000. So we, as I mentioned, we got a full page ad, so that's the photo. And then the custom content, we were interviewed for a story and their writer put it together. And then the editorial on the Pinnacles showing what hikes to do. And they had a replica ad on their website. So digital engagement highlights. Their base camp in the gateway to the Pinnacles was 1,759 page views. Their best of the coast, LA to Yosemite road trip, was 7,376 page views. The National Park newsletter featured us on March 16th. We had 141 clicks. And their Facebook post, you can see the numbers there, 51,000 impressions. And then in March, 22,000 impressions. So I think a lot of people looked at it, which is great. Here is the Central Coast Tourism Council's brochure, which I think I provided to each of you. This map brochure is very popular. So our ad, we did the horses from the parade with the Hollister sign. That was the photo that we used. And then it's just basically a listing with a small write-up. This is their circulation. 200,000 of the maps are printed and distributed over the year, and they're distributed by certified folder. And the ad cost, I think, for the year was only $1,700, so that seems like quite a value for it being the most popular map picked up at the rack stands. We also advertised in the California Road Trip magazine. And this was all of the Central Coast area, which is the most popular road trip area for California because we have Big Sur. So our Tri-County area, Monterey, Santa Cruz, San Benito, is the most popular. And the distribution on this is at 1 million magazines. So we only got a small ad, 3x2 image, and the little write-up you see there. And we did get a discounted rate by being a member of the Central Coast Tourism Council. Edible Monterey, that's a free magazine. Probably a lot of you have seen that over the years. They pass it out at 350 different locations throughout Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Benito counties. And they also have social media. They have a readership of 75,000 locals and visitors, and it comes out spring, summer, fall, and winter. And that's a picture of our ad, and I'm really happy with how that came out. The photo was donated to us by Rancho Quinsabe. It's a beautiful shot. Here is an example of what the certified folder rack looks like, and we are in the process now of creating a San Benito County only bifold map, and we'll have that distributed Monterey, San Jose Airport, San Francisco Airport, Gilroy Welcome Center, and a few other spots. And I will personally distribute it locally. So I had mentioned previously that Visit California were now featured. You can see it's kind of small. I circled it with the highlighter. But as we share more posts with them, we'll get to a larger size listing. Here's an example of a couple of the real photos on our website, one of the mission. We've had 9,689 visits to our website since we launched in January. it does show us the data of where people come from, and of course, most of them are from the US. But it was interesting, there's quite a few other countries, UK, Germany, Canada, Italy, France, that we had quite a few clicks from those countries. And then the main sources that led them there were Facebook, Instagram, Visit California, and the Central Coast Tourism site. So our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I've got some of the stats here. It was hard for me to know how to give you this because they only give us like 1 month at a time. There wasn't like an annual thing I could go to. Maybe somebody else knows how to do it, but my skills are lacking. So what I decided to do was give you the information on the highest performing post. So for Facebook, it was 1,650 views. For Instagram, which I have a small picture of it, it was 43,000 views. That was an influencer that came to the barn, and he was really popular, so it got a lot of views. And then TikTok, 1,800 views. And I think the post that we did last night might take first place. This is an example of our flyer that we gave to all the different lodging businesses that explains in detail the Tourism Improvement District. And I think I've given it to all of you before, but I'm happy to answer questions on it. So the Tourism Improvement District includes all lodging businesses in San Benito County that collect TOT tax. So whether it's just a ranch or it's a vacation home, anything that collects TOT, they're included in this. Once we get 50% or more of lodging businesses to support the proposed 2% visitor assessment, the plan will return to the county board for final approval. We estimate the annual budget will be $282,000, and the agreement is for a 5-year period, and then you can renew for 10 years. So if we get this to pass, that's guaranteed funding. We won't be trying to come to the county and the city to ask for money because we know you don't have any to give us. And this is kind of the way everyone does it now, is through these assessment fees that the visitors pay. So right now we're in the petition phase. What am I working on? I'm working on getting all the signatures I need. I need those 2 big hotels in Hollister to sign. They said yes over the phone, but they haven't actually signed. So working on that. I'm close. I'm so close. We hired a professional videographer to create content for us. And so actually the Tres Pinos video launched last night. And we've got a few more in the making. The next one's going to be on the wine industry. So Christian, I'll be talking to you about that one. And we want to bring back some of the events that brought a lot of visitors to the county previously. One of them was the Condor Classic Bike Ride. So we're going to partner with Piscinas Ranch and try to get a lot of the trails to be off-road. Brian from Off the Chain Bike is on our leadership team on that, and he says that riders want a gravel road. They want to be on private roads. So I talked to the original person who put this together, I think in 2017, and on the first ride they had 1,000 riders, which was great. So we're planning to do it in October, and we'll be getting committee and volunteers together to make it happen. And then we also want to bring back the Passport Weekend, celebrating local wines with a 2-day event. And we feel like that will help bring people into town and get them staying at the hotels. So thank you very much for your time and listening to me. And we need volunteers. We're a small group, and we don't have money to hire people. So if anybody wants to volunteer in our group, we'd appreciate it. And then I know you guys were trying to get the highway named Pinnacles National Park Highway, and I think that's on hold for now. But I did see something where Highway 25 might be able to be classified as a scenic highway, and I don't know the pros and cons of doing that, but I thought that might be something that the county could look into, because that would be a boost for tourism if it was named scenic highway. Probably the residents on the highway might not like it, but would be a boost. I just wanted to bring that up. It's off topic. So do you have any questions for me?
Great, yeah, thank you. Let's go to public comment first, and then we'll come back.
If you'd like to make a comment on Zoom, please press star 9 or the raised hand icon. And I have no public comment.
Great. Anyone have any questions, comments?
Thank you. Hey, thanks for this. Sorry. The Condor Classic Bicycle Rally, Relay, Race, Ride.
Yeah, you want to ride your bike?
Some R
E-bike, regular bike?
Do you have a map of where it goes? Does it pass through San Juan?
No, it doesn't. In the past years, it had, but there's issues with the wind and different things, so we're trying to do more of east-west instead of north-south. We're not going to go all the way out to the Pinnacles this year either.
Okay. I just keep hearing Hollister and San Benito County. Just want to make sure that San Juan Bautista is included in all of that. I mean, I see our picture, the mission all over the place.
For the wine passport weekend, we have 3 locations in San Juan that have already agreed to participate.
Nice.
So the Hacienda, the coffee shop.
Vertigo.
Yeah, Vertigo. Sorry.
That's
I'm old.
okay. I got
Mental
you.
brain fart. And the Posada.
Nice.
So they've all agreed to have a local winemaker there pouring wine. So
Super cool.
we're definitely including San Juan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Regarding the projected $280,000 in guaranteed funding from the hotels. You stated you need 50% of the hotels on board?
I think it's probably 51%, but
right.
yes.
But then it applies to all the
It applies to
hotels.
all of them.
And-
Anybody who pays TOT.
Okay, and that money, who's in control of those funds?
If you
It's
look at the
collected.
management district plan, it's actually Visit San Benito County is in charge of those funds. And we want some of the hotel managers, owners to join our board. But we actually give them a proposal. We have a budget, and that gets voted on at the beginning of the fiscal year. And then that's when they would have their say.
So, back to including San Juan.
That's including San
Our hotels
Juan.
would be included, so they would have
And we hope
some
Edible
input.
RV will be included as well.
Okay, right, nice. And also probably Mission Farms.
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
good. No, this is great news.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
the Pinnacles Camping also is a separate company. At first, I thought it was part of the national park, but it's a separate company. So we're going to them to see if we can get them to sign as well, because between them and Bettable, they probably have the largest amount of campers, RVers.
Right.
Thousand Trails
Thousand
is
Trails.
different because it's a membership. So I did talk to them, and she was very supportive, but you pay an annual membership, and then you can stay at any of their facilities.
Thank you, Irene.
You're welcome.
Have any questions online, comments? Can't see.
He's shaking his head no.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, you're gonna move to 5B, update from the Hotel Incentive Program ad hoc and staff provide any further direction as deemed appropriate. Do you want the ad hoc, did you have something, or should the ad hoc just?
So just to get this item started, I just want to provide a brief background. Your committee created a working group ad hoc on May 28th, and then the ad hoc did meet on June 19th to discuss preliminary steps. With that, this document that will be displayed momentarily is what came about out of that ad hoc meeting, but for now, I want to turn it over to the ad hoc members to provide some comments, and then ultimately, if the committee overall has any further comments or feedback, we welcome those as well.
Okay, great. I'll just say a few things right off the bat. So yeah, we met and we had a long discussion about, we looked at all the different programs and tried to come up with something that would be good. And
I'll just say from what we have here on the document, we want to kind of get feedback, I guess, from the committee as a whole here, and then refine things, and then probably bring it back. And there were certain things that, you know, we had talked about here at the committee prior, where do we want to include renovations or not? And ultimately, we decided it would be a good idea to include renovation as opposed to strictly new, but that there would have to be a threshold for that renovation to trigger the TOT reimbursement, which makes sense because you don't, as we said before, we don't want someone just slapping some paint on it and taking money. So there's that aspect. We decided the ad hoc had talked about a tiered program where the larger the investment initially, the bigger the percent of TOT back. And on that, I'll just say that looking at it here, the numbers are, I think, too high. I think if we divide them all by 10 or 5 or 10, we'd probably be somewhere more reasonable, just looking at the numbers, because like the lowest tier is 10 to 20 million, which is, I think these work for like Palm Springs or something, but it's a little different here, so I think we need to edit those.
I think that took into consideration, those numbers took into consideration new builds versus renovations. That's my recollection. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, all good. I appreciate that. Yeah, either way, I would just personally, I would say looking at it now, thinking about it, I think, I mean, for a new build, 10 million, I mean, you could, I'm not sure exactly how much, like, for instance, those 2 hotels cost, the 2 large hotels, the north end of town, but I think we could lower those numbers somewhat. And anyway, that's just my general take on some of the work the ad hoc did. I hope we can hear from the committee now and the rest of the ad hoc, but before I forget, I want to check if we have public comment.
If you'd like to make a comment on Zoom, please press *9 or the raised hand icon. And I have no public comment.
Okay, great. So if any of the other 2 ad hoc members have anything to add, now would be a good time. If not, open up to the whole committee.
I just wanted to add one thing, if I may. This is Christian Pillsbury. When we took this under consideration, part of the benefit or part of the attractiveness of using a TOT rebate as the driver, the incentive, is that it's not pulling resources out of any county programs. What this is doing really is taking ancillary revenue that's going to come in after a build, returning a portion of that to a developer as an incentive with a sunset, so that the full TOT eventually reaches county coffers. But from the beginning, you have the net benefit of some of the TOT, but then all of the ancillary elements of local employment, building, support from local businesses, and the general benefits of tourism. So that's why we focused on TOT in the group.
Great. And I will add actually just a note here I saw, because if anyone has any questions, there's the hospitality priority area, which is a line on a map that already does exist. We already have a hospitality priority area. I believe that's what it's called. And it's essentially South County. So not all of South County, but where, the wine corridor essentially is what it is. And so the county has at some point outlined that already as desired hospitality area. So that's why that is included. And you can find that online. I don't think we have that up, but you can easily find that online on the county website for exactly where that line is. Yeah, does anyone have any thoughts on this, opinions of how we should proceed?
I just have a question. I just have a comment or a question. So I sort of remember we talked about in terms of the renovation part of it, that we wanted to include something related to, like, if there was additional rooms that were added to the hotel. So if the renovation included like extra rooms as a way to have more availability, more people to come, you know what I mean? Like if you went from like 100 rooms to 120 rooms, and obviously you would be attracting more visitors. So was there any discussion about including that in any of this as well? Or are we just looking at upgrades to the existing structure that would just make it like a nicer place to visit? I mean, what was part of the discussion?
Yeah, I'll say that definitely was discussed. And I think the thought process was that if there would be a increase, like a cost increase, then the rooms, I mean, they'd have to, that would, I think, qualify in that sense, because if you're adding rooms, you're investing more into the hotel, right? And so you would, I believe you would hit a certain, like, so major renovation, 30%. So if you're adding rooms, I think you would be investing a certain amount, right? Or would you say adding rooms regardless of any type of monetary like number threshold to hit, just the adding of rooms?
Yeah, I mean, you could just have an existing structure that you just do upgrades, right? Like, like I know when I've traveled, I'd like maybe go to a hotel and then like, 5 years later, I go to the same place and then I realize, oh, they upgraded, the rooms are nicer, they have, it looks prettier, all that. And so there's that, right? But it's not bigger in any way.
Yeah.
But, and then others, like then you'll see, oh, there's, it's bigger now, there's additional rooms, so I don't know if that was just part of the discussion or if that's just gonna be kind of embedded in the ADR. I mean, an assumption that they will just get more revenue because they have the more rooms, so then that will be part of the ADR. So I'm not, so I just wasn't sure about that, wasn't clear.
Okay, I'd certainly spell that out to make sure that is clear. I wouldn't have an issue with that personally. That way that it's clear, so it's not ambiguous at all, and that
yeah,
that's in there.
I mean, it may take care of itself because of that, right? But obviously, if you upgrade the hotel, then you would expect that the room rates are going to likely go up because it's nicer. So that would increase just from that. But then if you add additional rooms, then that's additional revenue too. So anyway, I think it may be taken care of to the ADR, but just curious if we wanted to like really call that out. So
Yep.
And obviously this is what my thoughts are. I will leave it up to the ad hoc to just have that discussion, and it's fine with me either way. I was just curious about that.
Yep, I appreciate it. Good point.
Both commissioners
Yeah.
on Zoom would like to speak, so we can start with Mr. Pillsbury, and then after that, Mr. Kosmicki.
Sure, just to give a little bit of clarification for that last question. So when we looked at the impact to TOT as a rebate structure, we wanted to make a very clear distinction between TOT that was already received by the county and TOT that was not currently received by the county because those hotels have not been built. And if you were to add rooms, significantly renovate, reach all the thresholds in terms of investment or room rate or stars or however you want to structure it, that we would give the TOT rebate on what you paid in tax above a baseline that you had paid historically. So that will, in my understanding, probably take care of any additional rooms that you build because you're going to have additional TOT tax paid by your business. If you had a new build, you're going from a basis of 0, and that's why it was considered a total rebate.
Okay,
Supervisor
thanks for that.
Kosmicki, I think.
Yes, he's unmuting. Star 6, Star 6? Star 6?
Star 9? Star 9
Or
to
star
unmute.
9?
Oh, thanks.
Star
Sorry.
6 is to unmute.
Erroneous information.
Still muted. There you go.
Oh, you can hear me, okay.
Yes.
I had myself, I think I had myself. Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I had a couple questions. My 3-year-old is here, he's very curious right now. So what are the numbers actually based on in these categories?
Are you referring to the percent back or the numbers? What numbers?
Yeah, the millions of dollars, I guess all of it, the millions of dollars and the percent back.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. We know we wanted a tiered system. I think they might have just been based off of some other jurisdictions, but like I said, I think they should be adjusted either way. I think they're just just kind of accumulation of other incentive programs, I would say.
Oh, jeez, my kid, I'm so sorry. Tyler, why this doesn't work. Tyler, please. So, as far as, I think we made the point when we started this to not use like Palm Springs and some of these areas. I thought we wanted to really kind of replicate the city of Hollister's program so that we were basically on the same page. So I guess we need further sort of analysis of the numbers and just what these numbers actually, like what's relevant to our area, I guess, is my recommendation. Because these just look like sort of like I need to know what these numbers are based on, basically. And as a supervisor, if the supervisors get into approving a program, I would imagine that would be a central point of the conversation. Because I can tell you that with the sales tax reimbursement program that we put together, and Bob Tiffany and I were involved with that, and then we had the shift in committees, and I was taken off, and all of a sudden, the numbers were like escalated extraordinarily high for who is eligible for the program, and we've had no interest in the program, and it's something that needs to be revisited. If the numbers are way off, then this program is basically not going to provide any incentive. We're just not going to have any interest. And I'm also wondering on the number of keys, like the 75 plus keys, is all that basically this template from another program as well?
So if I
thought the simplest way of doing this, I think we can really overcomplicate these things if we just, sometimes you put way too much thought into these programs and trying to make them just more intricate than they need to be. And I thought the easiest way of doing this was just to essentially replicate the City of Hollister's program and to make some adjustments on the numbers based on the fact that was put together, 8 years ago or whatever it was. Because they've had a couple of hotels built over there, and I just feel like what I'm seeing here is I think I'm happy with the work that's been done, but I just think my recommendation is to simplify this quite a bit from where it's at. Otherwise, I fear that we're going to go down the same road as the sales tax reimbursement program. And that's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Pillsbury, I believe, had something.
Sure. Yeah, I think that those comments are well received, and I think they're absolutely made in the right direction. To give you some background, the ad hoc committee looked at programs not just in Palm Springs, for instance, or the California programs that you presented quite effectively in our last meeting. We also expanded the discussion to other communities that might have sort of demonstrative influence or could inform how we're thinking about this. So there were two things that, for instance, I took into consideration. One was with Hollister's program, historically, I think it's been effective in that we've gotten a couple of hotels built. Has it been effective that we got all the types of hotels that we're now discussing wanting to have? I don't know if that has been 100% effective. So I think there was some desire on the ad hoc committee to talk about that. The communities we looked at ranged from Northern California and Southern California, as you had presented, and we brought all of those into play. But we also looked at communities in the Southwest of similar size. We looked at suburban Minneapolis. We looked at Hudson Valley in New York, which has had tremendous success in developing agritourism. We looked at a number of different cohorts, and happy to put together a report that gives expanded thought on that, if that's useful. Furthermore, we want to make sure that we don't, to your point, make this kind of a dead-in-the-water program where there is no customer at the basic level. But we also don't want to come into this without providing some sort of, what would I call it, maximally effective opportunity to bring in somebody who thinks about Tourism San Benito in a different way. and is looking at this as as our proximity to Monterey and Santa Clara counties, which are effectively closed for development. I do think there's an opportunity, and we agreed in the ad hoc that there was some opportunity to look at what would happen if we thought about this in a fundamentally new way, taking into account what we've done successfully, but also taking into account what other communities have done to kind of change their fortunes. Thank you.
Hi, the other thing I think what we had discussed was we're looking for a specific type of hotel, especially in our hospitality priority area. We want a hotel that will serve a higher level of need, if you will. The other thing is the inexpensive hotels will come after the higher end ones have been developed. And I think this is where we got the beginning fee for the 75 keys at $10 to $20 million.
Thanks. I had a question on the 75 room keys. I get that it might even be a small number for South County, but if San Juan were to put in a boutique hotel, land-wise, we don't have the capacity for 75 rooms. So I'm just wondering if that's a titch too high.
Yeah, that's some thoughts. I agree. I think we definitely could lower it because, like you said, San Juan we're talking about a sort of a different area, just a whole different ball game as far as some other, the land available in South County. And I think what was touched on by some of the ad hoc members is that we wanted to have, the ad hoc had decided that it was a good idea to have, I think what we called it was sort of like a Hail Mary option, where if someone wanted to come do something very dramatic, essentially, we wanted to make sure that that was incentivized as well to maybe a higher level than something very simple. And so I think that's where at least some of the tiered idea came from. But I think just hearing some of this, and we obviously don't want this to die either. No one wants this to die. So I think what we could do is simplify it up a little bit, lower these thresholds, but maintain maybe that opportunity for something that's a little different, like is thinking about things a different way, more of a resort in that sense. We still have an opportunity to incentivize something like that, if that were to be an interest of somebody. And so I think we could really shred this down a little bit and simplify it and still maintain something like that, so that we are still working on incentivizing that type of hospitality development. Yeah, I don't know I think Mayor Roxanne, did you commission?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll go back to Nikki after.
Just really quick. I mean, to Mayor Jordan's point, I think ultimately we want to incentivize various types of stays here, and because, and also highlight the uniqueness. And so big major hotels don't necessarily reflect that. So I think the smaller, like boutique types or any kind of smaller places to stay might be more in line with the character of this region. So I think just putting some thought, and I honestly, I don't have any specific ideas on how to include them in this incentive program, but I think they are something to highlight. It's something to consider, especially because that does fit in with this region. And I think ultimately you get a similar benefit. They're going to generate less, numbers of visitors. However, if you had a pool of many smaller, like places to stay, they add up. The number of rooms add up, and ultimately there is some benefit to, in general, to the whole region. So, I mean, I think putting some thought into that would be great. I would like to see something like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And, Tres Pinos in the same situation that San Juan is in one sense that, can't really fit these size hotels anyway. So, sorry, Supervisor Kosmicki had comments.
You're still muted. Commissioner Kosmicki, you're still muted. There you go.
I put it on mute on my phone, so you can hear me. But again, I appreciate all the thought. I think there's a lot of smart thoughts here. My experience though, putting together these programs, I just think we have to be more realistic. To be really honest, I don't mind having a provision in there for a 5-star hotel. Do I think we're going to have any 5-star hotels? I would put $10,000 on it right now that there won't be any 5-star hotels. I do think we have to lower, our expectations on allowing boutique hotels and providing incentives for boutique hotels, because it goes in line with what I was saying earlier. If you set a threshold that's too high, you'd rather have something small than nothing large, I guess. And I also will say, just generally speaking, I just think we need anything decent and above is great. We don't have any hotels in the county. We don't have many hotels in the county, and we can use decent hotels, mid-range, if it's 3-star hotels. I just think that, we have to sort of, for me, just reset our expectations, and decent hotels, mid-sized hotels, small hotels, those are all victories for the community. We need rooms in this community to support the tourism, and I think a range of whatever you want to call it, quality or classifications, we should be more than welcoming to all of that. I think maybe having provisions that would allow for a lower number of rooms, relooking at the dollar amounts and making sure that those dollar amounts, and maybe having a consultation with the city of Hollister. I know they can't share, there's confidential things that go along with sales tax revenue and TOT revenue and those things, but Roxanne in particular, I think it would make sense to have a consultation with the city of Hollister to get a handle on what numbers are actually relevant, and that we're setting targets that can be met and that aren't so high so that we're not going to get any business from it. That would be kind of my general take. And then again, I would just come back to the city of Hollister program, because I think that was sort of the general recommendation, was to kind of take that and see what we can kind of replicate from the city of Hollister program. And whether we replicate it or not, I feel like the city of Hollister, the county, and if San Juan has the desire to do a program, I think we should all really be on the same page here, so that we're not necessarily competing with one another. We're just trying to get more hotels to the area, and small wins are big wins as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
And I'm not talking about lowering the quality, still having a 3, 4, or 5-star hotel, but for San Juan, boutique hotels are pretty pricey. Just lowering the room key size. The 10 to 20 million, is that the cost to build? I'm getting a little confused on, it says investment, so 10 to 20 million dollars invested, is that how much it costs to actually build it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe that would be, from the start to the end, but like I said, I think
that's a
we can.
pretty valid price range. I don't know, I've never built a hotel before, but
I think we could probably lower that personally. I think we could probably lower that. I think that's, I feel like you could build a hotel for $8 million and they're not going to get that incentive. That's a pretty big investment. I think we could probably lower that. Okay, Commissioner Pillsbury had some.
You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So I just wanted to also point out that this document is first draft working document. All the numbers are representative. They're not in any way intended to be baked in. This was a catalyst for conversation. I think it's been successful in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Commissioner Kosmicki.
All right, I'm unmuted. Yeah, no, again, I think the work is great. I just, these are the things where we have to probably go through a couple rounds of fleshing things out. And I just think the most important part right now is to have a consultation with, whether it's the city of Hollister or city of Gilroy, I don't know who would do that, but just to really get a handle on what the actual relevant numbers are for this area, so that we're not shutting the door on somebody that's like $1 million under, and like, well, I didn't want to quite invest 10, I was going to invest 9, and I don't want to shut the door. We just need rooms, basically. We need decent to a high quality hotel rooms here, and that's sort of just getting that analysis, I think, is the key. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, great. Well, appreciate all the input from everyone. I think the ad hoc can meet again and work on some of this and make some tweaks and come back with something else. And we will consult with ideally the city of Hollister, work on that, and come back with some the new draft, a new working draft.
Yeah, let me know if you want me to set up something with our city manager and our
Okay, yeah.
planning. So yeah, let me know. We can make that happen. Just
Okay,
let me know.
great.
Just
Yeah,
let me
we'll
know.
do that. We'll set that up then. We'll do that. I'll reach out to you and we can set that up. Before we move on.
Mr. Chair, yeah, for sure, definitely. I think that's the key. I really do. I think having that conversation with the city, and then if the city has like further tentacles to other jurisdictions around, maybe they don't want to share their information, but getting some actual like quantitative data. And of course, this is good. This is all very, I think what's been provided is really good. Again, I'm very, very appreciative of the ad hoc and giving us a foundation. I just think getting those more specific numbers, consulting with the city is really, really, really key here, because I would assume the city of Hollister wants to replicate whatever we're doing here as well. Thank you. That's all. Sorry, I'm done.
Great, thank you. Okay, then we're gonna move on then. Committee reports. Are there any reports from any committee members? Okay, no one online, right? No one has. Okay, great. 7 future agenda items. Does anyone have any future agenda items to suggest that we should talk about, or should we just continue, I guess, what we have going here with the hotel incentive program? I guess would be the only thing pressing at the moment, if someone has any other items. Okay. Oh, yeah. Should we have,
Irene Davis, are we still looking at a shuttle transportation service to the Pinnacles National Park as an agenda item?
I wonder if we can include that in a COG meeting, LTA, COG/LTA. I wonder if that might be something we want to talk to BNU about including in that meeting, because I had like a, I don't know, it was like part of an overall like brainstorming discussion with her, and I remember that was one of the things that we talked about. And obviously there's some challenges related to public transportation. However, I think we might want to, we can do that there if
Yeah,
you'd
we have
like to
had
do that.
offers from Bellata Park and different places to allow parking. It would just be the shuttle transit.
Yeah.
So I just felt like if
I mean, I
keep
think-
talking about it, otherwise nothing will happen.
I mean, I also think we could even find locations that are like smack in the middle of San Juan Bautista and Hollister. So for example, like Hollister, I would just say like maybe the Briggs Building, San Juan Bautista, maybe somewhere close to the Mission, and then it just becomes part of like overall visiting San Benito County. I mean, we could do, but I think we can have those discussions, but maybe I don't know, I'm just like thinking, I wonder if we can bring it up in COG, or should we have a discussion here first? Because I think that would be a great idea. LTA, actually, not COG, LTA.
Mr. Chair, I was actually gonna, I shouldn't have zipped my mouth. I was gonna suggest it as a future agenda item. I just know the few hotel program, we want to focus on that. But I do think maybe inviting Benito and seeing if she's available to give us an overall context of what it would take is from a funding standpoint, and just getting outside funding probably more than likely to support the shuttle.
Okay, then we'll add that to the future agenda item list, transportation to the Pinnacles, and we'll invite COG director.
And what about inviting, who is it, LTA?
Yeah, well, that is BNU. It's like COG/LTA, so it's still BNU, yeah.
What does LTA stand for?
Local Transportation Authorities, right? Yeah, Local Transportation Authority, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, that'd be great. We'll have that discussion, future item, and we'll invite BNU to give us the breakdown on how we can make that happen.
Okay, good. Yeah, thanks
All
for
right.
that, Irene.
Is there anything else on Zoom? Any other future agenda items? Okay, that brings us to adjournment. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy.